Welcome. It is time to illuminate the path to your true potential.
Well, this is unexpected. I haven't done an unexpected message in a long time, but I just finished a meal, in the middle of drinking my tea, and now I'm getting this message out to you. It's not that it was just meant to find you just because, that it's for you. It's meant to enlighten you. It's meant to inspire you. It's meant to illuminate you. If you can't hear, if you can't already tell, I am recording this during a massive thunderstorm. This is the first thunderstorm I've experienced since I moved here to Georgia, and it's really scary in a way. The lightning is intense. The thunder is intense. There's wind, rain, like it looks like a mini hurricane. Okay. So I was just sitting here and I'm watching the beauty of this storm and how God orchestrates these things and how the trees just stay in their place. The lake behind me is staying in its place. The animals have taken shelter. Nature is in its place. It's unmoved, okay? It's not panicking. You don't see the trees uprooting and running away, or the lake like sucking all the water itself out so that it goes somewhere else. No, you see none of that. The grass is still there. Those flowers and bushes and stuff by the lake, everything is still there. But here's the thing that I was reminded of. Someone told me the story about the buffalo and the cow. You may have heard this metaphor. You may not have. I had never heard this metaphor before, but it's very telling about who we are. Ask yourself this: are you a cow or are you a buffalo? Now, as I was sitting here and this storm is just blazing over, right? I was being reminded of my own things, because honestly, I've been going through this time period where I'm at an all-time high, right? My vibration's high, things are going great, and then there's challenges. There's these challenges. And then I have a double air in my chart of my big three, and it's like the mental state for me can get very intense, meaning I can have my own mental storm running in my brain, and if I don't face it, I'm going to prolong the so-called mental suffering, right? The overthinking, the overanalyzing, the what ifs, the oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? Or should I say this? Should I not? So while I was reflecting on this and trying to quiet my mind, and I was listening to this beautiful string trio while I was eating and then drinking my tea, and then I saw the storm come, and God says, just take out your earbuds and listen to the storm. And God said that to me because then I was getting my own messages about the metaphorical meanings of storms, and thinking about what I've been challenged with right now about, certain decisions, or what do I do with this? Do I throw this in the towel? Am I heading in the right direction? Do I doubt my abilities? Do I throw in the white towel, throw in the towel, put up the white flag, whatever it is? And I was reminded of the story of the cow and the buffalo. Now, cows naturally run away from storms. When a storm comes, they kind of start freaking out, and they go in the direction that the storm is heading. Like, it goes with the path. And what that does is it just causes more strife for the cow. It continues to prolong the suffering. This is very symbolic, and because I use medicine, I'm hearing buffalo medicine and cow medicine, because I use animals in my prophetic words. As I said in my previous videos, there's always some wisdom and grace even, and some knowledge that you can gain from God and what he's telling us through animals. And so the cow tends to go in the same path as the storm, right? It kind of freaks out. Nope, we gotta go, we gotta avoid it, we gotta go to find shelter, whatever, right? But then they're in the storm longer than the buffalo. Now the buffalo, it instinctively faces the storm, Okay, this is a beautiful thing about how we can learn from these animals. And why do you think in Native American cultures there's this strong, they honored the buffalo, okay? They used every single part of that animal for their livelihood, for survival, but they also gave grace, gratitude to their spirits, right? The buffalo spirit. I mean, there's nothing wrong with how the Native Americans, these Native peoples, were honoring these animals because they saw the wisdom in all of them. All these animals brought something to their culture, to their communities, to their individual selves. So it makes sense as to why the Native peoples, indigenous tribes, especially in the States, were honoring wholeheartedly the buffalo. So the buffalo charges into the storm, right? It says, oh, the storm's coming. They instinctively face it head on. They'll deal with the stress. They'll deal with the anxiety for a bit. But what do they know that the cow doesn't really know, that they don't really see, is that the storm always blows over. The storm always passes. You and I both know, like with the storm going on behind me, this is not gonna last for a week straight. No, probably not even days straight. Yeah, sometimes there's lots of rains and some other cases where it rains and rains for days, but I instinctively can tell this storm isn't going to last as long as it's been. I think it's been maybe 10 minutes now, which is kind of long, and I used to live in South Florida, and if you live in Florida, storms come and go, and it's like a thing. But these buffalo, right, they know it's going to pass. It's going to pass. But this is how their mentality is, right? Buffaloes have spirits, they have brains. God blessed them with it. They go into the storm and they say, all right, I'm going to deal with the tough shit right now. I'm going to deal with the harsh winds and the rain and the lightning and all this stuff. It's going to be difficult, right? It's going to be difficult, but it's going to be over sooner than later. And I'm not going to prolong the suffering. I'm not going to prolong this storm. I want to get it over with. But that is having the strength, the courage, and the resilience to move through it. Not around it, not away from it, not like above it. It's through. The only way is through. If God brought you to it, He can get you through it. And that brings also God into the picture. But God is in these animals to provide us with this wisdom. So this is what's happening here. The buffaloes representative of us having the courage and the resilience, the strength, the inner strength, right, to go into that storm. Because our inner buffalo is going to know it's going to be over soon. They will get to their grass sooner. They will have clearer skies and they won't have to deal with it anymore. And you know what happens with the buffalo? They come out of it stronger than what they were before they entered that storm. They know this. They know this wisdom. But the cow, not so much. We all love cows. I'm not saying that the cows are worse than the buffalo. That's not the point. But this is why God had made the cow the way it is today. But it's to teach us something. And, yes, it's not a bad thing to go seek shelter. There's like a safety thing here, right? But the cow running away from the storm, like in actual true life, in nature, that is symbolic of avoidance. Avoiding difficult conversations, avoiding trauma, not facing it, not dealing with it. You're trying to avoid the challenges because maybe you don't want to deal with the pain. Maybe you don't want to start over. Maybe you don't want to whatever. Maybe something's triggering this where something may be surfacing for you and it's leading you back to something from the past, and maybe there's deep emotional healing from that. That was a big flash. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's significant, okay? It's like something significant is coming up for you right now and you don't want to face it. I'm getting a very strong energy because we're now in Gemini season. Gemini is all about the mental state, talking, conversing, communication, right? Written form, speaking form, whatever. The thought process, okay? The intellect. It's the lower mind, not the higher mind, because Uranus is the higher mind, okay? Aquarius is the higher mind. Same thing. Some of you may be needing to ask for something or bring up something to somebody or tell someone the truth or tell someone how you feel, and you're just kind of like beating around the bush, right? And you don't want to go into the storm, you want to go away from the storm. So some of you, and this is not a judgment and this is not an insult, some of you are cows right now, okay? Some of you are cows. Listen to me. Sometimes I get into my cow spirit, all right? I'm not perfect. I'm not a saint. I'm utilizing my own experiences to teach you in this very moment when I wasn't even planning to do this video. I didn't even what? If you see my background, God's like, don't worry that it's bright back there. I need you to have the camera facing the storm. Oh, son of a bitch. I need you to have the camera lens facing the storm, not away from it. Oh my God. How amazing is that, right? And I need to face you guys. Oh, Lord Jesus. That's God right there. That's God right there confirming this word. This camera is facing the storm because he's telling you to face it. Do not run away. Have the difficult conversation. Speak your truth. Now, here's something on the other flip side of this, right? Be the buffalo right now. You're transitioning from the cow to the buffalo. And sometimes we get into the cow, like I said, for me, but then even this word is inspiring myself. Some of you, this could also be where you're having a difficult time being silent, not having to share things all the time, not having to tell everybody what's going on or answering questions. It could be that too. It could be very difficult for you to kind of get to center and get into solitude, get into hermit mode and just quiet your mind. Not say anything to anybody, not answer a phone call, not answer a text, not answer an email, not make a decision. Like, I gotta make the decision now. Oh my God, right? Again, that's the shadow side of Gemini energy. It's like, there's a little bit of impatience there. And so utilizing that buffalo spirit, you're going in there and saying, I have a hard time with keeping to myself, with not sharing my business. I have a hard time with needing to acquiesce to everybody's needs or answering every call or anything like that. This word is to get you to ask yourself, which one are you? Where are you at this time? Sure, we have these prophetic words. We want to have all the good stuff and all the wonderful, beautiful rainbows, unicorns, and puppies and ice cream. Yeah. But you won't get to that other side with the green grass and the clear skies if you don't go through the storm first. Otherwise, you are going to perpetuate your suffering. You gotta hit it, face it head on, and listen to me. I have learned so much from this, and I'm feeling emotional about it because what I used to do, I used to be the cow for most of my life. I was afraid to speak up. I was afraid to speak my piece. I was afraid to have those difficult conversations. And yeah, sometimes I got chastised for it. Sometimes I got yelled at. Sometimes people looked at me like I was a fucking idiot. Sometimes people looked at me like, are you dumb? Or like, what are you thinking? That's wrong. Or you're not going to get anywhere. Or you're not going to be successful. You really need to think about your life. How could you get yourself into that situation? Whatever. Why are you going that route? Right? Because I didn't want to deal with the so-called pain. I didn't want to deal with the so-called judgment. I didn't want to deal with the perception of how others thought of me, which would go against who I really was on the inside. And so this is to teach you. You can do the very same thing, because if I've been able to get through my storms, you can do the same. But this is about really answering your honest questions, asking yourself honest questions. do some self-reflection and say, what is it? What is this storm I am running away from as the cow? How am I going to get into this buffalo spirit? And you know how you can get into that buffalo spirit just like I did? I learned how to quiet my mind. I learned how to meditate. But the biggest thing was I learned how to build my relationship with God and the angels and with nature. Because even when I was in nature, because God speaks to us out there, I learned so much from the animals. Like the times I would sit there and watch the trees and God said, look what the trees are doing. Do you think they're freaking out about anything? No. And God would tell me, be still and know that I am God. I'm wearing that shirt right now. Be still. Now, you can be the buffalo and traverse through that storm, but the be still part of this is that you are calm on the inside. You're walking through it. You're not running through it, because you run through it. Yeah, you can get to the other side faster, but what are you learning? Yeah, you want to get over with and done with whatever, but are you going to learn anything by speeding up the process? By charging through it, where it's like, okay, I'm going to run at like 1 billion miles an hour just to get through this. We're walking through storms. It's like that part in the Bible when Jesus with the disciples in the boat, right? And Jesus is sleeping, and the disciples like, what are you doing, Jesus? There's a storm going on. We got to do something about it. And Jesus is like, I'm fine. And my cat's looking at me like he's confirming. Right, Yoshi? Right, Yoshi? You want to come up here, Yoshi? Jesus is like, I'm cool, calm, and collected. Jesus was able to do that. Why? Because he trusted in God. He was balanced enough because he was going out in nature and he was making sure that he stayed away from the disciples as much as possible, his own mom, the other people in the towns or whatever. He had to recalibrate. He had to recenter himself. He had to get his rest. He had to get more of his knowledge from earth and ground himself and learn more about, I got to balance myself out, because if I don't, I'm going to be frenzied. I'm going to be fried. I'm going to be anxious. I'm going to be worried all the time if I'm go all the time. I'm here like a live wire. But because Jesus had been able to train himself to deal with the elements, by the time that scene came, or that story came with him in the boat with the disciples, like, I'm good. I'm good. But he was also teaching the disciples, he's like, I'm here. But it's not just because Jesus was there. It was because it's the act of Jesus. It's how Jesus lived his life. It's his character. It's his belief system. It's how he operated in this waking world, which is what Jesus was trying to tell them. It's who he was as a person, not what he was. Or the fact that it was just one human being that was gonna save everybody. He was teaching them, hey, have you learned anything from what we've been talking about? Where is your faith? And right when Peter goes out there, walk out on water. And Peter starts to fall into the water because he loses sight of Jesus, right? And he's like, oh my God. He looks at the water. He panics. He gets worried. He's like, oh my God. This is not going to work out. He took his eyes off of Jesus, but it's more, he took his eyes off of his faith. He was thinking when he put his focus back on the storm, it took him out. But he was also fearful of being in that water, in that stormy seas, right? Oh my God, I can't handle it. Now, sometimes when we get into these storms, like, it's scary, right? But even while we're able to traverse those waters, Yet if we fall into the waters, we still need to be still. We still need to trust God. We still need to learn how to swim in it. With the current, whatever, with the stormy seas. And have our mind right. And have our mind clear. We can envision the clear skies even in the storms. Can we not? Yes, we can, because we're human. God gave us that ability. So with whatever it is that you are going through, ask yourself again, are you the cow or are you the buffalo? And if you're the cow right now, how are you going to transition into the buffalo? How are you going to have the courage to get into that storm? Face that storm. Walk through it. It's like walk, do not run towards the exits when there's a fire at the movie theater. Maybe some of you are at the movie theater now, or you're about to go to the movies, or you came from the movies. I don't know, whatever. That's for somebody. Something about watching movies. Maybe, oh, well, this is an interesting message. Some of you watch too many movies or watch too much TV, and it's affecting your mental state. It's affecting your energy because there's so much going on, and maybe it's very tough stuff to watch, or maybe it's just, I'm hearing like, you know, like mindless television or something, and it's kind of lowering your vibration in a way. Now, this is not to judge you saying you shouldn't be watching TV or movies or things. No, that's fine. But it could be it's too much of it, or what you're watching. Is it inspiring you? Is it lifting you up? Is it helping you to face the challenges without you having to click off? Is it teaching you something, or is it's telling you something you don't want to hear and you don't want to face it? For those of you who are in this perpetual suffering, you just can't get out of something or whatever. You're like, what do I do? Like, oh my God, this is so hard. This is never going to end, and I'm never going to get over this. And this is not, I'm always going to be broke. I'm always going to be homeless. I'm always going to be, judged. I'm always going to be left out in the cold. I'm always going to be left alone, or I'm always going to be lonely, whatever. I'm not going to have a partner. I'm never going to get married. I'm not going to have kids, whatever that is. You are the root cause of your perpetual suffering. That is the divine truth. And a lot of you don't want to hear it, but I don't give a shit because it's divine truth. And you've got to face it. You have all the power to get through everything and anything. I'm getting very strongly, a lot of you need to be more in your feminine energy, and you need to rest. Not just lie down and sleep extra, or just have a cup of tea and watch the storm that's going on, behind your house, in front of your house. You need to rest in God. You need to rest your mind. You need to take it easy. You can't be on all the time. You just can't. And while you're learning to transform from a cow, shapeshift from a cow to a buffalo, you're going to be able to have that buffalo spirit and just walk through that storm with a sense of pride. But this is not arrogant pride, okay? This is godly pride, saying, you know what? I'm a child of God, and I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of who I am. Yeah, I'm having these challenges and people are judging me. Well, why did you? That's your fault that you got into that challenge. That's your fault that you got to this. It's why blah 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 blah. You wouldn't be in that predicament if you would have done this. If you would have listened to me. And I'm hearing like a father, a mother, a sibling kind of telling you this, or like a spouse maybe. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. Ooh, that's tough, right? God doesn't waste time. He doesn't waste relationships. He doesn't waste experiences. Yes, there is free will. Yes, we get ourselves into things. But where is the wisdom in you understanding that when that happens, because of a choice, that God had that happen so that you can learn how to get through it, so that you can see who God really is and how he really operates in our waking lives. And look, for me, a storm came up recently in my life, and everything was just working out. And I was like, man, God, I'm in it again. But God's telling me in my meditation this morning, well, my dear child, what have you done before? What have you done before? I'm also hearing the word patience. Because even the buffalo has to be patient. Because the buffalo cannot, the cow and the buffalo, they cannot control the storms. They cannot dictate when it starts, how strong it is, and when it ends. That's all God's doing. So what these animals have to do, what we have to do, is be patient through it too. Not just to have the courage and the confidence and the faith and the hope or whatever, the resilience, the diligence, the perseverance. It's building character. Breakdown builds character. The challenges are here to fortify our inner strength and our inner spirit, and to augment our faith and hope in God and the Most High and the Creator. So that when we get hit with these things, we don't run away from them, we face them. And if on the other side of that storm, maybe you get hail, or there's more opposition, it gets harder, right? It builds you up more because you've gone through this before. You've gone through those gauntlets before, and it's teaching you, you know what? I know how to handle this. It may infuriate you and may anger you. You may be like, God, really? What? I have to go through this again? But then you say, you know what? What am I learning from this? How am I growing from this? Right? I'm hearing new level, new devil. Some of you may be ascending so much where the enemy's trying to take you out, and kind of like, I can't have this, you go all the way up here. I can't have you manifest those dreams. I can't have you manifest that love relationship. I can't have you manifest that money, that job, that business, you know, that type of thing. And then the enemy likes to come in and kind of like screw you over. Try to do every little thing to take you out. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. No weapon formed against us. All of us shall prosper. We're not going to let it happen. But you do have a choice in allowing it to happen. You're bigger than that. You're stronger than that. God gave you these special abilities, right? And you do it through Him. You do it through nature. You do it through the wisdom of these animals. I got this. I'm not going to keep running away and have the storm follow me, and have the storm follow me, and have the storm follow me, and have the storm follow me. Again, it perpetuates the length of the storm. It perpetuates the duration of the storm. It perpetuates the suffering. And it's now time for you to really reflect on what direction you want to head in. Are you going to trust where God has you right now and where He wants you to be? Are you going to trust in yourself? Are you building that relationship with God to really hear Him so that, okay, God, you know, I got to rest. I got to get to center. I got to meditate. God, how may I be of service? What message do you have for me? What should I do in this situation? And I know for me, if I was literally asking God about what am I doing, God, like he would say, buffalo. Shape it to the buffalo. Tap into your buffalo spirit. Because remember, I said in one video, we are connected to everything. God created all of nature, right? God created us, so we're all one. We are the embodiment of all creation. I said that in one of my videos. I think it was the alligator video. I don't know. One of those. Go find it and watch it. And what's interesting is it kind of done? I don't know how long. Look, it's 29 minutes now. There's still some rain, but I think the severity of the storm has ended. It's so funny how I was not expecting to do a video today. I know I was thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You know, usually I put out my prophetic words on Fridays, but I'm recording this on a Wednesday and it's either going to go out today or tomorrow. Probably today. Just put it out there. But it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Just like the lighting doesn't have to be perfect. I don't need my microphone. I don't need anything. But me and God and my word from him through me to you. I'm hearing all of you should take some time out to go look up more about the metaphor, about the cow and the buffalo. Do some more research on the cows and the buffaloes, because each one of you is going to get something different from your research. It's what God always shows me. Because when Jesus gave his parables, it was supposed to hit each person differently. But they were supposed to also trust in how it was hitting them, how they were perceiving the word, how the parables were pertaining to their lives, because everybody's life is different. Everybody's path is different. Everybody's purpose is different. It was one word, one channeled message, but it disseminates out to the masses, to the collective in such a way that it's going to be interpreted by each human being differently, and we cannot judge that. And if you're dealing with storms right now, let's say you're dealing with challenges with people or something, think about how you are somehow teaching this person or influencing this person, and how they are teaching or influencing you. Are they influencing you in a negative way or a positive way? Now, I am hearing, because some people say if it's all negative, you got to cut them out of your life, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sure. If it's perpetual negativity and toxicity, no, cut that off. But if it's like oscillating, okay, if it oscillates from time to time, you got to understand what God's trying to do. Because sometimes God allows the enemy to come in. Let's go test this. Let's go test the waters. Let's go do the litmus test. Okay, let's go check the pH of something. Where's it at? Because sometimes God's going to put something in front of you to see, okay, let's see how you deal with this. If you're not ready, if you don't face your truth, if you don't have a difficult conversation, you don't deal with the trauma, you don't deal with the challenge or whatever, or you still haven't learned your lessons, then God's going to say, okay, you're not ready for the next thing. I'm going to delay it, or I'm going to prolong it, or you're going to prolong something. I keep hearing it, face it head on. But you know what I'm hearing? What's that commercial? Head on, apply directly to the forehead. Head on, apply directly to the forehead. That's kind of funny. I don't know what the head on reference is for some of you guys, but it's relatable somehow to somebody. So, yeah, I think my guides are telling me that this is coming to a close. I'm on the 33-minute as I'm recording the original recording of this video. So that's the Jesus number. Descended Masters are here. You're learning to master your life the way the Ascended Masters have. And Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Ascended Masters. Okay? Saint Germain. A bunch of other people who've walked this earth. I just heard Sanat Kumara. That's for somebody. That is a specific message for somebody. Sanat Kumara. Okay? I'm not going to talk about who that is, what that is. If you want to look it up, fine. But this hit somebody because you probably just dropped your jaw when I said it. If you want to look it up, look it up. But it's funny how now the lightning has stopped. The wind has stopped. I think it's raining a little bit. I have a sense that a lot of you are feeling a lot of peace right now because of what I just said. I'm feeling it right now because before I was feeling the anxiety, the stress, the hopelessness, the lack of faith. And I'm sitting like this for a reason. I never do this in my videos. Maybe somebody's sitting like this right now. You're opening your arms to the world. You are. just reveling in God's grace and his mercy, but in his joy, in his sanctity, in his purpose, in his love, and in his peace. It's like you can now relax. Because for those of you who are watching this, you now know what it is you need to face. And for some of you, this may be the end of something, which is the beginning of something. For others of you, this is just a challenge because God, it could be very well testing you, testing your commitment, testing your resolve, testing yourself, your faith, your belief in yourself, believing in the impossible, to see if you're ready for the next big thing. Because if you start giving into fear now, you start running away from the storm again, it's just going to follow you. It's just going to follow you. Now, I am hearing something about, now here's where the cow spirit can very well help you with the avoidance. Hear me out. It's a flip side of this, God is telling me. You'd say you have an addiction, or like I said before, you have this tendency to go head into everything. You face it, right? You go right into it really quickly, or you speak up. You have to do it now. You have to say something now. You have to act now. And some of you are being told the opposite, where you need to avoid it. You need to get into silent mode. You need to shut your mouth. You need to move yourself away from those people. You need to back out from the storm. But what you can do, as opposed to the storm following you, you go in a different direction. Meaning you're avoiding more stress. You're avoiding more angst. Because you know that whatever this is going to perpetuate it, right? But I'm getting more something of... you tend to do something that may not be aligned with you anymore. You tend to run back to the same ex. You tend to go back on your word. You tend to go back to, some old behavior, some old patterns. You could be doing that to avoid something. Avoid being judged. Avoid somebody saying something to you, right? But here's the thing. You repeating these patterns and you're recognizing this, and then you could be in the avoidance of, you know what, I'm going to not do that. I'm going to avoid having to do those things when I don't have to right now, when I don't want to right now, when I don't have the energy to right now. I'm hearing very strongly like a soccer mom, or there's a parent or somebody, or you're at a job and you just say yes to everything. You're like, hey, I'll do it. I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll pick up the kids, I'll go take somebody's shift, right? I'll do it. Because you're avoiding yourself. You don't want someone to think less of you, or it could be some other trauma thing, right? You're used to seeing that with your parents. I have to work hard. I have to do all this stuff because I have to pay the bills, right? Ooh, some of you are working so much because you're avoiding your feelings. You're avoiding downtime with family. You're avoiding with opening up your heart. You're avoiding dealing with your trauma and your true challenges and your problems. That's for somebody here. Some of you are working too much because you're avoiding that. But going back to, you're the soccer mom, you're the person at work who wants to do everything. This may be a little bit confusing for some of you, but God's trying to have you center yourself so you can really hear this part of the word. With the cow spirit, what the cow is asking you to do is to avoid having to do that all the time. You're afraid of avoidance. That's kind of interesting. You're afraid to look away. You're afraid to do something different. You're avoiding change. Right? But there's something that you have to walk away from, something you need to do an about face with, something you do need to avoid in order for you to realize something about yourself. Because, it is revealing a deeper avoidance within you. Because when you pull yourself out, you walk away from something, you analyze the storm or whatever, I need to avoid smoking. I need to avoid drinking. I need to avoid having to raise my hand every time and say, yeah, I'll take that person's shift, or I'll go pick up the kids after soccer. I'll make dinner every night. I'll do this, and this. Some of you, I'm getting strong feelings. Some of you may be thinking I'm contradicting myself, but I'm not. You got to tap into your higher mind to really, really understand what this is. Because this is just supposed to illuminate you to go ask yourself and talk to yourself, what is this thing that I'm avoiding? Or what should I be avoiding that will be beneficial for my health and well-being? I'm hearing some of you with marriages. You're afraid to have that difficult talk, right? Like, I went through this with my divorce. It was hard. It's surfacing again because it changed a lot of things, but it changed us in a really good way. But it was a stormy period. But I would not be where I am today if it weren't for that. I would not be speaking you today if I wouldn't have gone through that. And a lot of you are going through like a divorce, or you're in a long-term relationship and you're like, you know what, I've been with you for 10 years, 16 years or whatever, and it's just not working out anymore. That's hard. You've been in a job for 20, 30, 40 years and you're like, you know what, and I want to do my own thing. I want to have my own business. I want to art. I want to create art. I want to paint. I want to work on cars. I want to, cook food. I want to make music. I want to do theater. I want to act. I want to have a YouTube channel. You could be doing one. You could be inspired to do something like I do, right? Maybe this is inspiration for all of you to go tap into what you feel is right for you, what your heart fills up with, what gives you that joy. And I know a lot of you are so worried about the storm of money, about not having it, about what am I going to do, how am I going to pay this off, how am I going to pay for this. Some of you may be buying a house right now, some of you may be buying a car, or you're going to get into a job that really aligns with you, or start your business that really aligns with you, but you're worried about the pay. Either you're going to get a pay cut, or you don't think you're going to make enough money. Get out of that. That is another storm in itself, but you face it because you have to learn how to trust God. If God is directing you through the storm, He always does. Start really getting grounded and getting to center and understand what God is asking of you in this moment. A lot of you, this is time to speak up. This is time for you to own up to who you really are as a divine child of God. And a lot of you, you're realizing you're not who you were anymore. And people aren't going to like it. Tough shit. I've been there, done that. I have no friends, as far as I know. Right? If people cannot accept you for who you are now, then that's a challenge. That's something you got to talk to God about. Either you're going to face that challenge and talk to this person about it, whatever it is, or you are going to continue on with this job, this relationship, whatever it is, but on your terms. Meaning, okay, we can get through this, but this is how I am now. This is how I operate now. If you can't handle it all the time, or you have issues with that, we may need to readdress this. We may need to go separate ways. It could be friendships too, guys. It doesn't have to be relationships. I mean, it doesn't have to be romantic relationships or marriages or anything like that, or business partnerships. It could be anything. You need to learn how to determine how this message is being delivered to you. I cannot spell it out for you. I'm here to illuminate you so much so that you start asking yourself the hard questions, because that is how you're going to grow. That is how you're going to learn. That is how you're going to ascend. And that's how you're going to be able to deal with the bigger Goliaths, and you're going to be stronger in your buffalo spirit to deal with any storm that comes your way. I'm hearing Archangel Zachiel is here. He is the Archangel. He's the righteousness of God, but he's also the angel that says, no matter what happens in life, even the challenges are part of your divine plan. Even through the challenges, you know that you're there for a reason. And Zachiel is telling you right where you need to be. It's building you up so that you can handle any challenge, even through the pain and suffering, with grace. You can rise above it. So that while it's hard, while it's icky, while it doesn't taste good, while it's just like, oh, this sucks, that period of suckiness or whatever, that period of ickiness, that period of pain, of difficult, of challenge, of like, oh man, this hurts, this is tough, it will be short-lived. And then you'll be like, oh, what a relief. What a relief. It will help you sleep better at light. It'll help you sleep better at night. Some of you need to sleep with the light on. Or background noise or something. It will help you to sleep better at night. It will help you to speak your truth without fear. It will help you to be in a state of peace even when you're in the middle of the storm. Think about how your life could be if you learned how to master that. That is a type of mastery these YouTube videos don't really talk about. And that right there is worth $1 billion. That right there is worth more than gold. When you can master the art of your inner peace and being able to face any challenges and to stop avoiding things. We have a choice to live peaceful lives or not. Our peace, our joy, our contentment, our fulfillment, our success is not, I repeat, is not dictated by anyone or anything. It's dictated by us and how we handle things and how we live our lives. And we have to incorporate God into these things and all the wisdom that he brings us from everything he created. We also need to learn how to connect with our own selves, to talk to our own selves, to tune into our bodies, our minds, and our souls to really communicate with our higher self and say, okay, I got to take a break. What is Jessica saying? What is, then there's also God coming in, the angels, whatever that is, right? Taking the time out for you to spend time with you. How many of you have been spending adequate time by yourself? God does his greatest work in solitude. Now I'm hearing, and with that, I will leave you. Now it's your turn to send this to someone who you know needs to hear it. Don't avoid it, because you know this person needs this message. That is the most important thing you can do. That is the greatest way you can support this channel, because we're all in this together. I'm the messenger, but all of you have to help me get the message out, right? If God is directing you to do it, ask yourself why you are avoiding sending this message to somebody, because you could be doing a disservice to that person who just popped up in your mind, in your heart, in your soul to send this message to. And if you avoid that directive, your heart space, right? You avoid hearing what God's telling you in that moment, what I just said, who to send it to, or me saying to send this to somebody, you are interfering with their divine plan. Or you are preventing them from getting to a place, because they may need the encouragement right now. They may need the message right now, but they don't know how to ask for help. They don't know how to reach out, okay? You know who this is. Send it. You may feel like someone's like, I can't believe you're sending me this. They're not Christian, or they're not this, or they're not that. They talk about buffalo spirit. They talk about that. No. This is you being a buffalo and having the courage. If you're going to have to deal with that storm, God's trying to teach you something. There's no one way to skin a cat. No offense, Yoshi. There's no one way to connect to God. Why do you think in the Bible, before Jesus was here, Abraham had a great relationship with God? David had a great relationship with God. Ruth and Esther and Moses and Moses' brother Aaron, okay? King Solomon. They all had their own ways of getting to God. And Jesus was not in the picture. So if something in this video is ruffling your feathers, it's for a reason. God is bringing me to you to enlighten you. Again, I am the life illuminator, okay? I am bringing light to things that have been placed in the dark. And I pray that this word really seeps into your spirit and you trust. If you're getting goosebumps right now like I am, and you feel like you're like on fire, not the fires of hell, but the fires of God, right? The fire of God, like Archangel Uriel and Archangel Nuriel, okay? If you are feeling lighter, if you are feeling the spirit move through you in this moment, that means it is of God. You all should know this by now. So go send this to those people who popped up in your head and send it to them. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. And again, in closing, when you're done watching this, either you watch it again or you start writing down, how am I like the cow and how am I like the buffalo, and do your Gantt chart, whatever the hell, do your Venn diagram, do your pros and cons list, and see what fits into those two animal categories. You will learn so much about yourself. And with that, I give you peace. I pray illuminated your well-being, and may you go with God. Bye.